Dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel MNR Physics. In this session, we are going to learn about the concept of spatial derivatives and the two operators associated with the spatial derivatives. One is del operator, other one is Laplacian operator. We already learned in the previous sessions that the physical quantities associated with various natural phenomena have different values at different points in space, and also we learned that such physical quantities are called as point functions, and we have two types of point functions. One is scalar point function, which has only the magnitude, and vector point function, which is represented both in terms of its magnitude as well as direction. The variation of such point functions, for example, temperature, which is a scalar function, electric field, which is a vector function, etc., with the distance, is expressed in terms of spatial their spatial derivatives in mathematical form. So let us define what do you mean by spatial derivative. The rate of change of a given point function with respect to the space coordinate or the position coordinate is called as spatial derivatives. Now let us understand the meaning of the term partial derivative. Suppose if you consider a point function which is a function of several variables, say in Cartesian system, it's a function of three Cartesian coordinates x, y, and z. If you consider such a point function which depends on several variables, then the derivative, spatial derivative of such function with respect to one of the variables while the other variables kept constant, then the derivative is called as partial derivative. So partial derivative can be defined as it is the derivative, spatial derivative of any point function with respect to one variable while the remaining variables on which it is supposed to depend are kept constant is called as the partial derivative. Now let us understand this statement mathematically. If f of x comma y comma z is a function of three variables, that is in Cartesian system, three variables are x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate, then its partial derivatives are given by f of x, fx, x comma y comma z. Here the suffix x refers to the variable is only x, while y and z are considered to be constants. Then its partial derivative is given by dou f of x comma y comma z by dou x, or simply we write it as f of x is equal to dou f by dou x. It means here f of x, f suffix x represents the partial derivative of the function f with respect to the variable x, while y and z are kept constant. Similarly, f of y or f dash of y is equal to dou f by dou y, and fz, that is f dash z. Here the superscript dash represents the first derivative or the partial derivative is equal to dou f by dou z. Here we have the three partial derivative of the function f of x comma y comma z. F dash x or simply f suffix x gives us dou f by dou x. Here x is the variable, y and z are constants. In the second term, f of y, f dash y, dou f by dou y represents the partial derivative of the function f with respect to the y coordinate as variable by keeping x and z coordinates constant. Similarly, f dash z represents the partial derivative of the function f with respect to z coordinate as variable, keeping x and y as constants. Now let us understand the physical significance of the partial derivatives of a point function. If f of x is a function of only one variable, say x, then its partial derivative or the change in the function f of x is equal to df, that is equal to dou f by dou x into dx. This represents the differentiation or the change in the function f of x. So we can understand the meaning of or the significance of the partial derivative. The spatial derivative or the partial derivative of a function or a physical quantity tells us how rapidly the function is varying with respect to change in space coordinates. If you go on changing the space coordinates, we get the value of the physical quantity at different points. So the term partial derivative or the spatial derivative tells us if we move from one point to another point in space, how the given physical quantity varies, at what rate it changes, is represented by its partial derivative. For example, if we know that the temperature along the metal rod changes, if we take the partial derivative of the temperature with respect to length of the rod, that gives us at what rate the temperature of the rod varies from one point to another point. That is represented by its partial derivative. Now let us understand the meaning of the term partial derivative in geometrical sense. There is geometrical interpretation of partial derivative. Now we have three graphs plotted here. Here each graph is plotted by taking the function f of x along y-axis and the space coordinate x along x-axis. We have three different curves represented randomly. Now consider the first figure. Let the curve ACB represents the point function geometrically. If we draw a tangent at C, tangent to the curve at C, then that tangent makes an angle theta with respect to the x-axis. This angle, the tangent of this angle theta, is taken as tan theta. That tan theta is equal to dou f by dou x. It means the slope of the curve, if we want to know the rate at which the given physical quantity varies, simply take a tangent, draw a tangent to the curve at point C. That gives us the rate at which the given physical quantity is varying at C. Similarly, if we want to know the rate at which the given physical quantity or the point function varies at B, draw a tangent at point B and take the slope. Slope is taken as the angle theta, where angle theta is taken from the positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction. The slope of the curve is obtained by drawing the theta and taking the angle between the tangent and the x-axis. That gives us the rate at which the given physical quantity varies at a given point. Similarly, in the second figure, at point C, the curve makes an angle theta with respect to positive x-axis and the tangent taken in anti-clockwise direction. This slope gives us the partial derivative at C, that is the rate at which the given function f varies with respect to x, with respect to the position coordinate x. Similarly, the third figure, we observe that the function is independent. We get the graph parallel to x-axis. It means that f of x is constant or its partial derivative is 0. It means if the slope is equal to 0 or its partial derivative is equal to 0, it concludes that the given function is a constant at that given point. So let us understand the geometrical meaning. The partial derivative of the function f of x at any given point is represented by the slope of the curve at that point. Geometrically, we can take the slope to know the partial derivative, and this partial derivative obtained at the given point gives us the rate at which the given physical quantity varying with respect to space coordinate. The next term is total derivative. If the derivative of a function of several variables in which all the variables are allowed to vary simultaneously, then the derivative is called as total derivative. I hope now you understood the difference between total derivative and partial derivative. Partial derivative is variation with respect to one coordinate while the other coordinates are assumed to be constant. Total derivative is the simultaneously when all the variables are allowed to vary, then it is called as the total derivative. Now let us represent the term total derivative mathematically. If f is a function of three variables, that is Cartesian system, x, y, z, then its spatial derivatives are the partial derivatives fx, fy and fz are also the functions of these three variables. Then the total derivative df of the function is given by df is the total derivative, df is equal to dou f by dou x into dx plus dou f by dou y into dy plus dou f by dou z into dz. This term gives us the total derivative of the given function f, where it is all the three variables are varied simultaneously. For example, if we know that the pressure of an ideal gas is a function of two variables, volume V and temperature T, that is P is equal to F of V comma T. Then if any one of these parameters changes, we know that according to gas laws, the pressure changes. The pressure changes with the change in volume, pressure changes with the change in temperature. Suppose if you keep the temperature constant, volume alone is varied, then the partial derivative of the pressure is dou P by dou V by keeping temperature constant. Similarly, if the volume is kept constant and temperature alone is varied, then its partial derivative is given by dou P by dou T, keeping volume constant. Then if both volume and temperature are simultaneously varied, then we have to write the total derivative or the total differential of P. That is given by dP is equal to the partial derivative of P with respect to volume, keeping temperature constant, that is dou P by dou V with respect to constant temperature into dV plus dou P by dou T, keeping volume constant, into dt. This term gives us the total derivative of the function, that is the parameter pressure. Del operator. Till now we understood three terms: general term, spatial derivative. Then we have two types of derivatives: partial derivative and total derivative. Now let us understand two operators associated with the derivatives. The first operator is del operator. The vector differential operator denoted by del bar, this is read as, the symbol del is read as del bar. The bar indicates it's a vector function, or it is sometimes it is also read as nabla, and it is defined in three dimensions by the equation del bar is equal to dou by dou x I cap plus dou by dou y j cap plus dou by dou z k cap. This differential operator is called as Hamiltonian differential operator, or simply we call it as the del operator. The definition of del operator is independent of the coordinate system. This is a very, very important point. We can define the del operator such that it is independent of the coordinate system in which we are applying this, we are using this del operator. Further, this del operator can be used in two ways. Either it can be treated as a vector quantity or it can be treated directly as a differential operator. Because even though it is not really a vector, still it enjoys the properties of both vector as well as differential operator. Really speaking, in geometrical sense, it is not a vector because it doesn't have any scalar magnitude, but it does transfer properly so that it can be properly transformed so that it may be treated formally as a vector. We can treat it as either as a vector or simply it can be used as a differential operator. How, in what sense we are using this del operator, that depends on the physical phenomena where we are applying this del operator. A del operator can be treated to behave as an ordinary vector, just been already discussed, or it possesses the properties like an ordinary vector. The symbols dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z can be treated as the components along I, j and k directions respectively. That is unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. We have three components, dou x, dou y, dou z in Cartesian coordinate system. Now let us make the operations of del operator with different types of point functions. The resulting operators are called as field operators. The operator del can be operated on either on scalar fields or on vector fields, which leads to three field operators which reveal interesting collective field properties. If you want, in order to understand the properties of different types of fields, that is scalar, electric field or magnetic field or gravitational field or temperature field, etc., you can use the del operator. When del operator operates on either scalar or a vector field, it will result into three field operators. Now let us understand the three field operators obtained by operating the del operator. The first operation is when a del operator is operated on a scalar function. When a del operator is operated on a scalar function, say phi of x, it results in a vector field and it is called as the gradient of the scalar field, and it is denoted by del bar phi, or simply it is read as grad phi, or the gradient of the scalar field. So I will repeat again. When del operator is operated on a scalar function, say phi, it will result in a vector field and it is called as the gradient of the scalar field. Now let us understand the operations of del with vector quantities or vector point functions. The operation of del with vector point function can be done in two different ways. First one is when del operator is operated as dot product of a vector function, say a bar, it results in a scalar field and is called as the divergence of the vector field, and it is given by del bar dot a bar. When del operator is operated as the dot product of a vector function a bar, then the resulting operator, field operator, is a scalar field and it is called as the divergence of vector field. Symbolically, it is represented as del bar dot a bar and it is read as divergence of a bar or simply div a. Similarly, when the del operator is taken as the cross product or the vector product of a vector function a bar, it results in the vector field and is called as the curl of the vector field. The symbolic representation of this operation is del bar cross a bar. We are taking the cross product and it is read as the curl of the vector field or vector point function. So we have three field operators. When del operator operates on a scalar function, it leads the vector function that is called as the gradient of the scalar field. When del operator is operated as dot product of a vector function, leads to a vector scalar field, and it is called as divergence of the vector field. Similarly, when the del operator is taken as cross product with a vector function a bar, it leads into a vector field, and it is called as the curl of the vector field. The fourth one, when del operator is taken as the dot product of itself, we get when the del operator is taken as the dot product with itself, then it results in a new operator, delta is equal to del bar dot del bar, that is written as del squared or nabla squared. And this new operator is called as Laplacian operator. Now let us summarize the four operations of del with different quantities. Gradient. Gradient is obtained by operating del with a scalar function. It results in the vector field, and it gives the direction of maximum increase in the scalar field, scalar point function. Divergence, that is del bar dot a bar, when del operator is taken as dot product with a vector function, that is called as divergence. It results in the scalar field, and it gives the existence of flux force and source and sinks of the fields. Third one, del cross A, that is called as curl of the vector field, which it results in a vector point for vector field, and it gives the direction and magnitude of the whirls. Fourth one, Laplacian. It is written in two ways, del square phi. When Laplacian is operated on a scalar function, then it leads into a scalar quantity that is obtained by taking divergence of gradient of a scalar function. Divergence of gradient of a scalar function gives us the Laplacian operator, which is a scalar quantity. Similarly, the gradient of divergence of a vector quantity gives us again the Laplacian, which is a vector quantity. Now observe here, we have two types of Laplacian. Divergence of gradient gives us the scalar operator. Similarly, gradient of divergence gives us vector operator. We are going to discuss the divergence, curl, and gradient of the different fields in coming sessions. Now let us understand more about the Laplacian operator. Laplace operator are simply called as Laplacian. A Laplacian is a scalar operator which is a result of dot product of the del operator taken with itself. That is del square or delta is equal to del bar dot del bar, that is equal to dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square plus dou square by dou z square. This operator is called as Laplacian or Laplace operator. Now let us understand some important features of Laplacian operator. Laplacian operator is a scalar operator. This is very, very important point. Laplacian operator is a scalar operator. This Laplacian operator is used in physics, mainly used in working with the wave equations, Maxwell's equations, and quantum mechanics. If the scalar Laplacian operator is applied to a scalar field, it generates a scalar field, and it is obtained by taking divergence of gradient of a scalar field. If the scalar Laplacian operator, when it is applied to a vector field, it acts on each component in turn and generates a vector field. Be careful with operations of Laplacian operator. Laplacian operator is a scalar operator. When it is operated on different fields, it results in the corresponding fields. When it is operated on a scalar function, it leads to scalar field. When it is operated on a vector field, it leads to a vector field. The equation del square phi is equal to 0 is called as the Laplace equation, and the function phi which satisfies this equation is called as harmonic function. This is one very useful, which we are going to understand this equation in electrostatics. We are going to discuss more about the Laplace equation in the next chapter, that is in electrostatics. Thank you.